It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are and who they're with? Now, the 10 o'clock news.
Right now, investigators want to know what went on last weekend at this UF fraternity house. Did somebody drug women?
Out of jail, cleared of suspicion of his stepmother's murder, hear from this man who has a lot to say.
This disgraced ex-congressman wants you to know secrets about him.
Forget matchmaking websites. How about just asking your mom who you should date?
A new forecast from the hurricane forecasters at Colorado State.
Cleaning up for the next Olympics, China on a purge to get rid of pollution.
A new Florida law that affects where you can ride an ATV. The 10 o'clock news starts right now.
Live from the local station, this is the 10 o'clock news.
Hello, everyone. A man wrongfully accused of murder tonight. We're getting our first look at the video that freed him.
This as investigators consider a link between that murder and an East Coast crime spree which ended in St. Johns County last night. It is the big story first at 10 tonight. Initially, the murder of a clerk at a produce stand in Nassau County landed the woman's stepson, Tim Waters, behind bars, charged with her murder. But we have brand new video from a surveillance camera at Waters' job, which police say proves he could not be the murderer. And Nassau County Sheriff's deputies have it too, which is why they let Waters out of jail today. As for the real killer, police now believe it could be this man, 37-year-old William Ashby. He is the man who led police on a chase through 2 counties last night. Brand new at 10, Channel 4's Victoria Warren rolls the video and tells us why the Waters family is still caught up in this very high-profile murder investigation. She's live. Victoria?
Tim Waters says from day one he told investigators there's no way he'd have enough time to travel north on I-95 from Jacksonville's west side, 70 miles up to Yulee to commit this crime. Well, tonight we are rolling the videotape that the sheriff says now proves his innocence. All this as the sheriff says he's got a new person of interest in this murder, William Ashby.
Go home, brother.
The piece of evidence Tim Waters was praying for. Him on video at a junkyard on the west side at about the same time he was accused of murdering his stepmother, Paulette Waters, at a fruit stand in Yulee.
I really thought that I would end up getting the electric chair or a lethal injection.
Tim says those thoughts haunted him during his 10 days inside the Nassau County Jail. He said he was innocent from day one, telling investigators he had an alibi and was nowhere near Nassau County.
I told him where I was. I told him how many witnesses there, all the people I spoke to.
Tim says police didn't listen to him, but his defense attorney did. That attorney came here to ASAP Towing on the west side, asking the owner if he saw Tim Waters here around the time of Paulette's murder.
Once he started asking the questions, we were able to put 2 and 2 together and realized that Tim was not able to commit this crime.
And then Vince Serrano pulled up this video. First, you see Tim's truck towing an old semi. Then you see Tim himself walk across the screen. And then you see Tim's truck leaving.
Here at the towing yard, they want everyone to know that they are being videotaped. Now, usually they use this surveillance video to catch the bad guys, but this time they say they're thankful they were able to use that video to help free an innocent man.
It is crazy, but it came to good terms. God saw it through.
I called them personally.
What'd you say?
Vince, you're a lifesaver, buddy. I owe you one.
Tim says he spent the day breathing in the fresh air, and for the first time, he got to grieve his own loss and visit this memorial to his stepmother.
It's starting to affect me this evening.
Tim Waters says there was no way he could be traveling on I-95 at that time frame, but the Nassau County Sheriff says they are now looking at that new person of interest, William Ashby, who was killed last night in St. Johns County by deputies. The Nassau County Sheriff says Ashby is considered a person of interest in the murder of Paulette Waters. Ashby has been spotted in several locations in and around the I-95 area during the last week, so this case is still open. The Nassau County Sheriff says they will continue to investigate so that they can have some answers for the Waters family about what exactly happened to Paulette. Live along I-95, Victoria Warren, Channel 4, the local station.
Tim Waters will join Stacey and Bruce tomorrow on the morning show to talk further about his family's ordeal. That's tomorrow at 7 a.m. Law enforcement officials say Ashby's crime spree might have started just north of where his life ended.
On September 22nd in Nassau County, a woman was robbed and murdered at a produce market. Ashby is now a person of interest in that case. 2 days later, a convenience store in South Georgia is robbed. The 58-year-old clerk is shot. Tonight, she is in critical condition, and police say Ashby is a prime suspect. The next day, the alleged crime spree moves north. On September 25th, another murder, a fruit stand worker shot and killed in Beaufort, South Carolina. Again, Ashby, a key suspect. 3 days later, September 28th, Ralph Hopper and Julie Maiden are found shot to death in a liquor store in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee. Ashby is considered a person of interest in the investigation. And a horrifying discovery just 2 days ago. A University of Virginia graduate student is found dead next to a car that was stolen earlier in Georgia. She was just 22. Count on Channel 4 for continuing coverage of the East Coast crime spree. For a closer look at the timeline, you can log on to news4jax.com.
New at 10 tonight, a new law has a different kind of vehicle hitting the roads, ATVs. Just 3 days ago, all-terrain vehicles were not allowed on unpaved roads unless the road was on private property. 2 days ago, the law changed, and some people are not happy about it. Channel 4's Jennifer Bauer is live with more on this change for ATVs. Jen?
Well, the new law went into effect on Sunday, and it says that all-terrain vehicles can now be ridden on public, unpaved roads just like this one. But some counties are saying no thank you.
Danny Quinn loves to spend time outdoors, especially when he's hunting and riding his ATV. But he says he knows his limits.
It's a responsibility. It's definitely not a toy.
And even though Quinn's best friend, Mike Key, was killed on an ATV almost 1 year ago, he still rides.
He got killed doing what he enjoyed. I mean, and that's, he'd tell me to go on. I know he would.
Key was riding on private property in Clay County when investigators say his ATV hit a tree. He hit his head and died. Until now, ATVs were only permitted on private roads and in designated areas. But new legislation in the state of Florida gives ATV riders access to unpaved county roads with a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or slower. The decision is drawing debate from both sides. Quinn says it's okay as long as people are careful.
As long as the other people out there look out for it, just like a motorcycle, look out for them.
But some county commissions have voted to opt out of the new law, saying ATVs are too dangerous as it is. Take a look at this video of a young girl getting tossed over the handlebars. Some say this new law will only make things worse. Quinn says he and his best friend Mike made many memories on their ATVs, and there isn't a day that goes by he doesn't miss him.
He was good as gold. He's as good as friend as you could ever have. If you needed him for anything, he was there no matter what.
Now, Citrus and Pasco counties have already opted out of the new law, and several others are considering it, including some right here in North Florida. We are live in the South Bank tonight. Jennifer Bauer, Channel 4, the local station.
Well, the Weather Authority delivered another dry day, but some evening showers sneaked into portions of the area. Let's take a live look out of our tower camera right now. The showers quickly skirted out of the River City. Looks beautiful out there. Are we in for another dry streak now? The Weather Authority senior meteorologist John Gahn is here with our first forecast. John?
You know, Mary, when we get those easterly winds like we saw this afternoon, the dry streak may not go on for days, but for a few hours. And that's what we're basically looking at now. We're definitely not seeing new rain develop across the coastal waters as we had seen earlier this afternoon. And what I'll show you now is the fact that Doppler's showing that no rain's around town, so radar is not showing any rainfall currently. But here's how the rain came down earlier this afternoon. The little blue areas showing where the heaviest of rainfall occurred. In some instances on the north side, you had up to about 1/4 of an inch, and that was mainly early this morning when the sun was just getting going up to around 10, 11 o'clock. And then this evening, it was all about St. Johns County. You can see St. Augustine picking up about 1/4 of an inch. Right now, though, again, you can see with our radars kind of blazing the skies at Jacksonville, no rain, and temperatures that are basically in the mid-70s. Here's your forecast for this evening, and again, with clouds continuing to fade from this moment on, we'll see those temperatures hold in the low 70s right on through 11 o'clock. Sunrise, 7:23 tomorrow morning. Yeah, some low clouds out there, and there is still the slightest chance of a shower, especially along the coast. 78 degrees by 10 o'clock. I cannot rule out rain for tomorrow, as I think there will be a few showers around. But Mary, many of us stay dry today, and again, that will probably be the case tomorrow. But we'll detail the rest of the day's forecast and look at towards the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, John. Count on Channel 4, the Weather Authority, for updates on your True View forecast and for instant information. And to see if rain is heading your way, you can log on to our web channel, News4Jax. WJXT.com. Right now, a fraternity is under fire. Gainesville police investigating claims from 3 women who say they were drugged at a party there.
All 3 say they woke up in separate locations feeling confused and having trouble remembering what happened that night. All 3 wound up in the hospital. New at 10 tonight, Channel 4's Scott Johnson finds out what law enforcement officials are saying about what went on at that fraternity party. Scott?
Tom, police say the 2 18-year-olds and 1 17-year-old, one woke up at a friend's apartment, another woke up in the fraternity house, and a third woke up laying in the back of a stranger's pickup truck. But investigators didn't get suspicious until all 3 women wound up in the hospital. Hours before thousands of Gators packed into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on Saturday, many UF students were doing what you might expect, partying. One party in particular has Gainesville police worried because of 3 underage women who all arrived at the same Gainesville hospital. The last thing each says she remembered was drinking at the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. But the 5 hours that followed the party were a blank.
The circumstances that surrounded the way that they regained consciousness concerns us. Where they were, the status of their clothing, that kind of stuff gives us great concern.
Administrators and police are investigating.
We're not accusing anybody there of doing anything, but you have to understand from our point of view, when you get 3 women, underage women, for the legal drinking age, who are all at the Pi Kappa Alpha House reporting that they did have drinks there, and then all of them ended up blacking out.
For now, the fraternity is keeping its mouth shut.
We're being fully cooperative with the police. As you mentioned before, it's open investigation, so we have no comment at this time.
We have also talked to other female UF students who say they have been to a number of parties at this fraternity.
They're really not any crazier than any other frat party. You know, there's booze and stuff, and there's guys, there's music, and other girls from sororities or not sororities.
This student says she will be a little more cautious at the next party.
It's really about looking out for yourself. You need to be smart about decisions you make on game day, especially because everyone's looking to get crazy, but you just need to be really safe.
And so far, no charges have been filed, but police do wonder whether or not more women will come forward. We're live on the South Bank. Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
Right now, police are investigating an afternoon shooting in northwest Jacksonville. Police say an argument between 2 men near the intersection of West 28th and Stewart turned violent. They say one of the men pulled out a gun and shot the other man twice. The victim was rushed to Shands and is expected to recover. Officials have not made public his name. Detectives are also investigating an overnight shooting. This one was in Mandarin in the 4000 block of Sunbeam Road. The victim is in Shands right now with life-threatening injuries after police say he was shot in the stomach twice. Right now, investigators are still looking for the gunman. Police are asking anyone with information about either shooting to call Crime Stoppers. The number is 866-845-TIPS. You do not have to give your name, and you could be eligible for a cash reward.
Trusting your mom with your love life. Would you believe more grown sons and daughters are asking their families to decide who they should date?
Also ahead, putting yourself in line to be a target for online attackers.
Police say they got more than they expected during a traffic stop. Officers bust what they thought was drug smuggling until they found a different kind of cargo inside.
A bombshell tonight in the unfolding Capitol Hill sex scandal. This is Gary Nuremberg in Washington. We'll have the details coming up.
Once again, we had some splash and dash showers across the area. We'll use Titan to kind of track down a few neighborhoods and see how much you got coming up.
We're proud to cover Arlington, Mayport, and Lakewood.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
I never rank one story above another. All stories are about real people, and I just feel humbled to have the opportunity that they're going to tell me their story and that they're going to let me pass their story on to the people who watch Channel 4. If I'm sitting there watching Channel 4, I really do believe that the people I'm looking at are like my family.
Tom Wills on Channel 4, the local station.
Insoft today.
Live from the local station, Tom Wills, Mary Bear, Rob Sweeting, Jennifer Waugh, Senior Meteorologist John Gunn, Sam Cavara Sports. This is the 10 o'clock news.
New developments tonight as a former congressman at the center of a Capitol Hill email scandal now says he's revealing personal secrets. Mark Foley says he was molested as a child by a member of the clergy, also saying publicly for the first time that he is gay.
His disclosures come on the same day President Bush said he is disgusted by Foley's actions. Here's more from Washington and Channel 4's Gary Nuremberg.
The sex scandal surrounding disgraced Florida politician Mark Foley took an unexpected turn Tuesday night with this statement from Foley's lawyer.
Between the ages of 13 and 15, he was molested by a clergyman.
Foley resigned from Congress Friday as websites began to publish suggestive electronic messages he allegedly sent to teenage boys who had served as congressional pages. President Bush Tuesday said he was disgusted.
I was dismayed and shocked to learn about Congressman Foley's unacceptable behavior.
The president says he supports the request for a Justice Department investigation made by Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert, a request the Attorney General is studying.
Investigators at the FBI and prosecutors at the Department of Justice are in the process now of gathering up facts.
Hastert is being criticized for not acting more quickly after top aides last year learned of some of the emails.
Talked to the Speaker, and he told me it had been taken care of. And in my position, it's in his corner. It's his responsibility.
But some Democrats are asking if the Republican leadership engaged in a cover-up. And Tuesday, the conservative Washington Times newspaper called for Hastert's resignation, saying either he was grossly negligent or he deliberately looked the other way in hopes that a brewing scandal would simply blow away. Though Foley says he offers no excuses, his claim that he was molested as a child is clearly an attempt to portray him as a victim, too. In Washington, Gary Nuremberg, Channel 4, the local station.
Foley tonight is reported to be in rehabilitation for alcoholism. His attorney says Foley is an alcoholic who never drank in public and that he was under the influence of alcohol when he sent many of the emails and the instant messages in question. He says Foley never had any inappropriate sexual contact with a minor. Around America tonight, his search is on in Oklahoma for a wanted man who came dangerously close to some students. Rob is here with more. Rob?
Well, Tom, police ordered several schools to be locked down when the suspect crashed his car outside one of those schools. Police say the man crashed while running from police. They wanted to talk to him about a beating of an Oklahoma City woman. The suspect fled on foot, prompting authorities to lock down 6 surrounding schools. The man tonight is still on the loose. Police uncovered an illegal secret inside this 18-wheeler, the one you're looking at there. Officers surrounded the truck at a Dallas truck stop. When they opened the back, they found nearly $100,000 in marijuana and about a dozen men and women. Police believe the truck was being used to smuggle illegal immigrants into the country. The truck's driver is now in police custody. A Rhode Island teacher is facing jail time for allegedly stapling a student's head. Police say the social studies teacher hit the student with an open stapler. Police say the teacher has been known to put staples in students' hair just as a joke, but the victim's mother says this is no laughing matter.
I'm totally outraged. It's something, I'm sure no one's ever heard of anything being done like this before.
The teacher has been put on administrative leave. She also faces the misdemeanor charge of simple assault, which carries up to 1 year in jail. The student, by the way, is okay. He only suffered a cut on his forehead.
I encountered one of the mildest little showers I'd ever seen today.
It's about five drops every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Doop, doop.
It depends on your location. There are some drops. It's a misty condition.
Misty
That's
type
right.
of situation.
But again, there's that tropical feel to the air, as we did have some of those showers around. And take a look at what's going on again as we take a look outside this evening. The Hart Bridge looking great. Look at the St. Johns River. Can you see the reflection of the Hart Bridge there? An indication that the winds have subsided. And it is the wind that has played a key role in our weather. And you thought, you know, who cares about the wind? Take a look at what Titan's showing right about now. And again, not much in terms of rainfall right now. Radar indicating no rain, not in the immediate Jacksonville area. Here's what the rainfall totals for today were like. And again, no rain, absolutely none. Gainesville, Lake City, Valdosta, Waycross, Brunswick, Georgia. And again, it was in the downtown area, but not necessarily all around town that we had some scattered rain showers here this evening. 76 degrees of current temperature here in Jacksonville. 80 right now in St. Augustine as we do have that easterly wind, but it's a lighter breeze now when that that wind tends to pick up, we start to see the rains return. And this is also a reason why the temperature from Atlantic Beach to Ponte Vedra is so much milder than it is in Callahan, which is 73. McClenny's at 75. And again, rainfall from this afternoon. Look at Michler's Landing. That's Michler's Landing, 4,600. It's a ½ inch of rain. That's significant rainfall. Jacks Beach, about a third. Orange Park, about a 1/10 of an inch. And then you got into the north side of town, and it dried out pretty quickly. Here, let me show you a little bit more about what I'm talking about in terms of the wind as we take a look at the True View forecast. High pressure out to the north. We had that east-northeasterly flow of wind. Most of the showers are scattered downstate as well as not just here, but also downstate. And as that wind begins to subside at times like it is right now, we won't see any rain showers. But I think the rain showers will begin to pick up again later on tomorrow. 66 degrees at the airport by daybreak tomorrow, only in the 70s for the overnight lows, as it'll be very warm along the beaches. That's will be the warmer locations. 81 degrees, noontime. Again, some dark clouds, maybe a few isolated rain showers here and there, but partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies, especially through parts of Georgia coming up for tomorrow. The afternoon highs around 84 degrees. Yep. Looks pretty ginger to me, too. 81 degrees, easterly winds along the beach, a high tide in the morning, low tide around lunch. We go 84, 86, 87, 20% chance of some scattered showers for tomorrow, and we should begin to dry out again tomorrow, very much like today, but not in the same locations that saw the rain today. Well, we see the scattered showers return for tomorrow. In a few minutes, we'll extend the forecast to the weekend. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, the bus stop forecast with Richard Nunn, starting at 5 a.m.
Thank you, John. New at 10 tomorrow, protecting you and your family from a potential killer. Most men know they could be at risk for testicular cancer. But did you know some boys are at risk too? Sometimes it strikes victims as young as 15. Spreading the word and letting you know how to keep yourself and the men in your life safe. That's tomorrow on the 10 o'clock news.
Online at home, you might feel pretty secure, but ahead new at 10, you could be making yourself a target for an online attack.
Also new at 10, pain and prayer in Amish country. A vigil tonight to remember the children lost in a schoolhouse massacre.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news on Channel 4, the local station.
No rabbits out of a hat, but what they do still looks pretty magical. Here's Sam.
Tom, the Magic are in town for the 7th year in their preseason, as Otis Smith, the general manager, and Brian Hill, the head coach, now back for his second term in his second year there, have brought the Magic to town to work out for the whole week. Magic went through a first practice today, and you can see they had a little 5-on-5 scrimmage going on. Magic will be practicing all week here, and we'll have a free open to the public scrimmage coming up on Saturday at 6:30. That's 6:30 at the UNF Arena. If you want to see this year's Magic team that includes Grant Hill and Jameer Nelson, along with Hedu Turkoglu and a variety of others. That's coming up. Dwight Gooden, obviously, that's all coming up here at 6:30 on Saturday. Meanwhile, the baseball playoffs started this afternoon. The Oakland A's got 2 home runs from Frank Thomas. Thomas becomes the oldest player to have a multi-homer game in the postseason at 38 years old. 3-2 the finals. The A's beat the Twins. Game 1 between St. Louis and San Diego this afternoon. This was kind of the play. Mike Piazza can't handle the foul pop by the screen because of the sun and the screen. 5 pitches later, Albert Pujols takes it out of the ballpark. A 2-run home run as the Cardinals go on to win 5-1 to win Game 1 against San Diego. Right now, the Yankees currently lead the Tigers in the 6th, 5-3. Tom?
Thanks, Sam. Trying to understand why a gunman terrorized an Amish school. Authorities released disturbing information about the suspect as the victims are remembered in a prayer vigil. A new report ahead at 10.
Also ahead, thousands turn out to pay tribute to a fallen deputy shot on the line of duty.
Getting the red out of your eyes, that is, what China is doing to clear the air before the Olympics.
And for us, the air is clearing out as those clouds from earlier on are fading for now. But what about later? I'll detail the forecast coming up.
Cell4.tv. It's Channel 4 News on the go.
When it comes to protecting your family from hurricanes, nothing is tougher than PGT WindGuard impact-resistant windows and doors. Also, nothing is easier. PGT WindGuard windows and doors. Effortless hurricane protection.
She's one of the best reporters that I've ever worked with. What a tremendous blessing in our newsroom to have a major anchor who grew up here in Jacksonville.
Jen, being the hometown girl that she is, knows this community inside and out.
I feel that having been a reporter for so long, that has helped make me certainly a better person and certainly a more qualified and experienced journalist. I'm blessed to be able to work in my hometown.
Jennifer Waugh on Channel 4, the local station.
Oh, you know, we knocked on wood the other day. Yeah,
a lot of wood. So far, so good.
Because we're talking about the hurricane season.
Right, and you know what? There's been a lot of great discussion about it this year. I mean, people come up to me, oh, it was all hype, wasn't it? It was hype, and what I'm talking about the early part of the hurricane season.
The dire warnings.
The dire warnings, the repeat of, or not the repeat, but another busy season like last year, of course, never happened, and that is because certain things have been changing.
Right.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast as it once was, and again, what we're seeing here is that for us, in downtown Jacksonville, it's all looking pretty nice here this evening, and that's the nice news of all because we've had our little share of rain, but nothing too serious. Check out this. This is the graph that tells us a little bit about the hurricane season, and the two forecasters that we'll be concentrating on from here and evermore are Dr. William Gray and his, well, again, his apprentice, if you will, and this is Philip Klotzbach over at Colorado State University, and they updated their forecast. Now they're only saying there'll be 2 more storms, and I was reading through all the details, and as I was doing so, interestingly, they think the season will end at the end of the month of October. Now, that's not typical. The normal season goes to November 30th, but what their information is suggesting to them is that we're going into an El Nino environment. So instead of the season going to November 30th, we're just going to knock November off and probably finish it up at the end of October. Just want to point out a couple of things for you. If the truth is, or if their forecast holds to be true, Joyce and Kirk would be the next 2 named systems. And if you look at the climatology of this, that's the green line and the red line here. We are at this little plateau between now and about the 20th of October, and as such, what it means is that the tropics should remain pretty constant with some activity between now and then. So the next 3 weeks are pretty important to us in seeing what comes next. And I would point out there's a little swirl right in through here we're watching, and there's one out in the Gulf of Mexico. Neither one are looking all that interesting now, and it's all, you know, dependent on what happens with this El Nino, which will really play into our winter weather if in fact it does hold up. All right, that's enough said about what is to come. The hurricane season's been quiet. We love that. Knock on more wood. We're not out of it yet, but certainly I heard that 3 weeks to go. It's all looking pretty good. High pressure's out to the north, dry air in Georgia, humid air down here in Florida, and again, beautiful day in Georgia today, but here locally we did have those passing showers. This is for tomorrow's forecast. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., it's still going to be fairly dark, a little twilight-ish, and we'll have a few clouds and temperatures mainly in the 60s, except along the coast, will be in the low 70s there. By the time we get to the lunch hour, 81 degrees, and it'll be under partly cloudy skies. You see a few raindrops? Yeah, there'll be a few rain showers tomorrow. The better chance will be from about Palatka, St. Augustine southward, but there's still going to be a few rain showers here locally into the downtown area, maybe even out toward Nassau County coming up during the afternoon hours tomorrow. We'll just see how it gets played out, but overall, a partly cloudy day with more sunshine out toward Waycross. Look at that afternoon high there near 87 degrees. Check out Tuffy. He's actually got a corncob pipe in his mouth. He's tough. He's tough like that. All right, but what we're going to see tomorrow at the beach is nothing too tough. 81 degrees, seas offshore a little bit big, but not too bad. And again, easterly winds will be up to around 15 miles an hour, and a high tide coming up in the morning and a low tide around the lunch hour. A lot of sunshine between those gray skies that'll be out there at times. There's your 3-day forecast. Like I said, I'll give you the weekend forecast. So here it comes. Not looking too shabby. The only chance of rain I see right now is early Saturday morning. Then we clear out. Cool front comes through. Big waves may, I'm not saying they will, but may roll in late Sunday and Monday for the surfers as a new storm system cranks up off the East Coast near North Carolina. Gone gauge coming up here in a few minutes. Today was a 9. It was a borderline because we got some showers, but we'll see about tomorrow when we get to that in a few minutes.
We'll look for that. Thanks, John.
Sure, Mayor.
Developing stories we're following right now. A man police shot and killed last night, we now know was wanted in several states for armed burglary and murder. 37-year-old William Ashby of Savannah died after a chase through Flagler and St. Johns counties. St. Johns County Sheriff's officials say he may be the man wanted by the FBI in connection with a murder in Virginia. Ashby is also suspected in deadly armed robberies in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. A Columbia County jury heard more testimony today in the trial of a man charged with murder in the death of a state trooper. Florida Highway Patrol Sergeant Andy Brown died in April of 2004. Investigators say Brown was pursuing a car when the driver slammed on the brakes, causing Brown to lose control of his car. He went off the road and hit a tree. Gregory Platt of Naples was driving that car. He faces second-degree murder charges. Brand new at 10, friends and family gathered tonight near Lancaster, Pennsylvania to pray for the children shot at their school yesterday by a gunman.
It is one of several services planned in that area in the coming days. Church leaders say they want to make sure the Amish community knows they can count on support from everyone in the region. Earlier today, new and disturbing details came out about the gunman, 32-year-old Charles Carl Roberts, and what he may have been planning before the Monday massacre. Police held up a copy of one of the suicide notes left by 32-year-old Charles Roberts, revealing what may have driven the church-going father of three to plan, then execute a mass murder inside this one-room Amish schoolhouse.
Robert states in his suicide note that he has been having dreams for the past couple of years about doing what he did 20 years ago, and in the dreams he wants to do those things again.
Police say while barricaded in the school, Roberts told his wife that incident 20 years ago was molesting two young relatives aged 3 and 5. He also wrote about the death of his premature baby, his firstborn child, 9 years ago.
Roberts was angry with God for taking Elise as outlined in his suicide note.
State police say Roberts methodically made a checklist of items to buy.
When he talks about doing the things and having dreams for the last 2 years about doing things that he did 20 years ago, if in fact it's true that he did this molestation, that he perhaps planned with the kind of wood and eye bolts and flex cuffs and KY jelly and other things, it's very possible that he intended to victimize these children in many ways prior to executing them and killing himself.
Police say they have no evidence any victims were molested. All were shot at close range.
It's difficult anytime, as you said. I mean, this is a terrible tragedy that affects all of us.
Emergency vehicles continue to go in and out of the area around the schoolhouse, which remains tonight an active crime scene. The governor of Pennsylvania has ordered all flags at half-staff until all of the young victims are buried.
Focusing on Florida now, family and friends gathered in Lakeland today to remember a deputy killed in the line of duty. Thousands came out to pay their final respects to Deputy Matt Williams. Williams and his police dog were shot and killed last week after pulling a man over for speeding. This is that man, Angelo Freeland. A SWAT team shot and killed Freeland following a massive manhunt. A Marion County mother is arrested after her son missed 71 out of 100 school days. The missed school days landed this woman, Kimberly Niedzielski, in front of a judge. As part of the truancy case, he ordered her to attend parenting and anger management classes and to take a drug test. The mother refused, so instead the judge sentenced her to 30 days behind bars.
Now, Rob takes you around the world, starting in Italy, where authorities are trying to figure out if a suspected hijacker was working alone. Rob?
Well, Tom, authorities did say that the Turkish man took over a packed jet in mid-flight before forcing it to land in southern Italy. Now, the jet was supposed to land in Istanbul, Turkey, where scared relatives waited for the more than 100 passengers on board. The hijacker released passengers 2 hours after landing and then surrendered to police. Police are now questioning him. They believe he may have hijacked the plane to avoid military service in Turkey. A suicide bomber attacked a NATO convoy in southern Afghanistan today, killing only himself. The military says the bomber drove his motorbike into a Canadian military convoy traveling in the Kandahar province. The blast set one of the military vehicles on fire, but none of the soldiers were hurt. The world's eyes will be on Beijing in 2008 for the Summer Olympics, but officials there say those eyes may become red, itchy, and irritated. That's because they say China is the world's most polluted nation. The World Bank says 16 of the 20 most populated cities in the world are in China. Chinese officials blame the population on acid rain and factories that blacken the skies all over the country. With the Olympics around the corner, officials there say that they have a lot of work to do.
When we say that the air quality here has improved, we're comparing with Beijing's air quality several years ago. If we compare Beijing with developed countries, we are still a long way off.
Officials are targeting Beijing's heavy traffic, trying to reduce vehicle emissions and encouraging public transportation. Beijing's also importing natural gas and relying less on coal for heating and cooking. The 2008 Summer Olympics are just 2 years away.
In tonight's Consumer Alert, a warning for those who use computers at home. A top online security software company says you are the favorite targets of online attackers. Technology experts gathered in Washington to discuss the latest semi-annual Internet Security Threat Report. It points out attacks can be triggered by just visiting a website, making home users the weakest link in the security chain. This year alone, 86% of all Internet attacks were on home users, compared to just 14% on financial institutions. Analysts say hackers most often look for information that can be useful in identity theft.
Coming up tomorrow on the morning show, it's a simple number that can make or break you, especially when it comes to interest rates. But there are some ways to boost your credit score. Join Tammy and Bruce tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for ways you can increase the number and cut your costs.
Shaq is slamming the new NBA basketball. The NBA says the ball, designed by longtime athletic equipment maker Spalding, is made with a microfiber composite and has a moisture management system that helps keep it feel consistent. But Shaquille O'Neal begs to differ, saying in his words, quote, "It feels like one of those cheap balls that you buy at the toy store." The Miami Heat center went further with his comments when he talked with reporters about the change.
It's like touching an exotic dancer and then going touching a plastic blow-up doll. You know, it feels different. You like that one?
The NBA says one of the reasons it is changing from the leather ball to the new ball is that basketballs will be uniform in all NBA games. You could call it a family affair. Ahead new at 10, calling on your closest relatives to help you pick Mr. or Ms. Right.
And later, his candle in the wind still burns. And now a legendary music man hopes to raise money and awareness with another candle.
You know, that whole ball thing comes down to one thing, and that is how everybody sweats and how inconsistent the ball is. If Shaq hates it, they may not play with it. We'll talk about that and the Orlando Magic being in town coming up in spring.
Right now, there are more reasons than ever to shop Rooms to Go. Just check our Rooms to Go Advantage checklist. Reason 1. Rooms to Go now offers a choice of 2 interest-free ways to finance. Hold your first payment until January 2008 or finance interest-free until January 2010. Either plan, there's no interest. You get great-looking furniture at unbeatable Rooms to Go prices. Plus, next-day delivery on in-stock merchandise. So check it out right now.
Escape to a world of vibrant color, captivating design, and luxurious style with Stainmaster Carpet. Celebrate the 20th anniversary of Stainmaster Carpet at Woodsman Kitchens and Floors, where the flooring of your dreams is waiting, with an incredible selection of colors and patterns for every decor. It's a whole new era in style and beauty for your home. Stainmaster Carpet, always stylish, always beautiful.
Anna Nicole, the first pictures of the grieving mom since the death of her son Daniel. Then Clooney's new leading lady. And Chorus Line's Broadway return with Lara Spencer next inside.
Tonight at 11:30 on Channel 4, the local station.
I'm failing. No big deal.
What about college?
Face it, I'm not getting into college.
Fighting doesn't work.
Can't let him keep failing.
Maybe he'll outgrow it.
It's not just a phase. You saw his report card.
Ignoring it doesn't work.
Ma, I said I'd do better. Saying it and doing it are 2 different things.
Punishment doesn't work. What does work is the Huntington Learning Center. By improving basic skills, we build motivation and confidence, and kids look forward to learning. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN today. Your child can learn.
Imagine bringing your dog in to get groomed, and when you pick him up, he's dead. Toby was strangled. Scotch was suffocated. Accidentally killed at the groomers. Watch the next Inside Edition.
Tomorrow at 7:30 on Channel 4, the local station.
Some people dress retro by going to the nearest mall and buying expensive new clothes that copy a vintage look. Others shop at Goodwill and spend a lot less by simply getting the original, proving that while imitation may be the sincerest form of flattery, it's not always the most cost-effective.
We're having a great discussion here about leather basketballs and rubber basketballs and What's the NBA's reason for leaving the leather ball behind?
Because as the ball gets worn, it gets some of the pebble taken off of it, and as the guys sweat, and they sweat more and more, that it gets on the ball and it makes
Slippery
it inconsistent from city to city, from ball to ball that comes into the game. Spalding's developed this ball that over the years is a synthetic moisture-wicking ball that it doesn't matter. You can pour water on it and it still remains tacky. But, you know, guys in the NBA, their hands are so big, they hold a basketball like you and I would hold a tennis ball. You know, literally.
Wow.
You know,
but if Shaquille doesn't like it,
you know, it'll be interesting because
like
I was at Magic practice today, and they had this whole big vat of them, and they kind of almost had them under lock and key, like, okay, we're only using these in certain situations. So, in fact, I'll show you some Magic practice, and we'll see. Are they playing with the new ball? I don't think they were playing with the new ball today, come to think of it. But the Magic are in town now for the 7th consecutive year in their preseason at UNF. Is that the new ball? Maybe it is. I don't know. I think it is. It's that kind of that funky-looking orange. It dunks well, according to Grant Hill, as you can see. But this is something, obviously, that the players have to get used to. Yeah, that's that new ball. See, it's got that octopus design on it. The old ball had the deep channels on it, and you could really grab it. But this ball is completely different. The Magic and all other teams in training camp this week will work with that and try to get used to that as well. It's also an opportunity for the Magic to kind of cull out who's going to be on this team this year. Brian Hill says it's a good opportunity because there's plenty of competition.
I was excited. I think everybody else was excited. I think we was here about an hour and a half before practice, just sitting in the locker room like, okay, when we going to practice? You know, so the overall atmosphere was great.
You're getting back into worrying about the little things out on the floor as a player instead of just playing up and down like they have been all summer. So we got some fundamental work accomplished, a little 5-on-5 work accomplished, and all in all, I thought it was good practice.
I think I called him Dwight Gooden earlier, didn't I? Dwight Howard, obviously.
That's right,
I think I did. Nonetheless, Howard and the Magic will be here all through the week. On Saturday, there's a free scrimmage open to the public at 6:30 at the UNF Arena. The rest of the practices are closed to the public tomorrow through Friday. But Saturday at 6:30, the Magic will unveil at least some of the guys that will be on this team this year. Pretty interesting team because it has a kind of a team concept. Howard with all those rebounds. Grant Hill seems to be healthy. We'll see how the Magic do this year. They'll be in town all week, and then the free scrimmage on Saturday at 6:30 at the UNF Arena. The Florida State Seminoles are taking on NC State on a Thursday night. It's the kind of game that Bobby Bowden has always described as a recipe for disaster, particularly if it rains on the road on a Thursday night. It's not what the Seminoles are looking for, but Seminoles certainly know that NC State have had their number in the past, and they want to make sure that doesn't happen again 2 nights from now.
NC State's always been an opponent that was tough, and especially when Phillip Rivers was there, we had our battles. I mean, out there in Doak, 50-44, double overtime, but they got us last year. And anytime you lose a rivalry game, you always want to go get them back, especially since it's going to be in their house. So we definitely owe Chuck a little revenge.
In 2 weeks, the Seminoles will wear this uniform, and it kind of looks greenish, doesn't it? But
it looks very
greenish. It looks green, but it is a black uniform designed by Nike that says Unconquered on the one leg, and on the other side it says Seminoles. As a full weekend of tribute to the Seminole Indian tribe here in the state of Florida. They will also unveil a bronze statue of a Seminole family that'll go on the east side of the stadium as well. T.K. Weatherall, the president of the university, said that it's a full opportunity for the Seminoles to thank and recognize contributions that the Seminoles have made to Florida State, and to thank them once again and how proud they are to be able to use that name on a regular basis. Remember, there was some controversy about that in the last 2 years, and Florida State petitioned the NCAA and won the right to continue to use the name of the Seminole tribe here in the state of Florida. Baseball going on today. Frank Howard with a couple of home runs, the oldest player to have a multi-homer game in the postseason at 38 years old. What did I say, Frank Howard?
You said Frank Howard. You're going back in time here with Dwight Gooden,
I'm
Frank
having
Howard.
a serious senior day here. This is Frank Thomas with 2 home runs, because Frank Howard's like 68. Frank Thomas with 2 home runs. Oakland wins that game 3-2. The other game was won by the Cardinals that Albert Pujols hit a home run, and right now the Yankees lead 7-3. That game's in the 7th. Sorry.
Perfectly all right.
I need some more sleep.
At least I know who those names are anyway.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Very well. Thanks,
Okay.
Sam.
Alrighty.
New at 10 tonight, the newest thing in dating has nothing to do with one of those find him or her websites.
No, the old-fashioned idea of matchmaking. It's making a comeback with a growing number of singles turning to family to get fixed up.
When Chad Tons was looking for the love of his life, he turned to the one who loves him most, his mom, Iris.
Who's to know you better than your mother?
Love that. So Chad's mom, who owns a clothing store, went shopping for a match. The second Rocio walked into her shop, Iris knew she'd found the perfect fit.
I thought she was sweet, and she was funny, and she was beautiful. So I said, this is a match made in heaven.
And it is. Rocio and Chad have been dating for nearly a year, with full credit going to mom.
She really scored this time around. I owe her big.
It turned out to be fabulous.
Relationship expert Ian Kerner says the traditional idea of matchmaking is making a comeback. More and more young singles who lead hectic lives are asking their parents to play Cupid. Kerner says it makes perfect sense.
I think sort of having a set of eyes that can take the time to kind of help you evaluate opportunities and figure out possibilities is really great.
Old-fashioned family fix-ups are becoming so popular, they're even getting a modern twist with a new online dating service, matchmakingmoms.com.
Family and friends, not the dater, actually create the profiles and search for matches on behalf of their single loved one.
The family members do all the correspondence and even set up when and where the dates happen. From there,
the chemistry is up to the single people to decide if this is a true match or not.
Bridget Raymond is giving the site a try. She likes that she doesn't have to sort through all the profiles or do her own PR.
I don't have to write about myself or try to brag about myself or play myself up.
But instead of her mom doing the setups, it's her tech-savvy aunt, Jane, on the job.
Maybe with a little assistance, she can get along a little bit better.
Things are sure working out for Chad and Rocio, who are now looking forward to the future, and they have his mom to thank.
It gets better and better with every day. I couldn't be any happier or luckier.
In addition to fixing up her son, Chad, Iris says she's also set up another couple. She's now 2 for 2 and is looking to make even more successful matches.
He's hoping to raise awareness and make some sense for a worthy cause. Elton John's latest project ahead.
And next in ET Reloaded, Mr. T is back.
Let's kick back for the moment.
All right, there's the Sunshine State, but if you look close, you can see a little blue down south. That's rain shower activity. And even closer to us, we've seen our share of some scattered showers over the last few hours, but those rain showers are basically coming to an end for now. We'll talk more about this coming up here at 11 o'clock. The Gone gauge, only an 8. Mary, it may not be as rainy as it was this afternoon around parts of town, but I still see some showers, and as I mentioned, we'll talk about that at 11.
All right, thanks, John. In tonight's ET Reloaded, a new bombshell in the battle over Anna Nicole Smith's newborn baby girl from the man who claims to be the girl's father. Today, Larry Burkhead filed court papers in a Los Angeles court to establish paternity and custody of the child. Burkhead claims that while 4 months pregnant, Anna Nicole was detoxed from a drug addiction to methadone. He went on to state that Smith's daughter was born addicted to the drug. Friends of Anna Nicole say the allegations are totally false. Smith stands by her claim that her attorney, Howard K. Stern, is the father. Mr. T is back on the small screen, and he pities the fool who doesn't watch. His new reality show, I Pity the Fool, premieres on TV Land later this month. In the show, he'll travel the country offering straightforward advice and, quote, teaching fools some basic rules. And if you're wondering what happened to Mr. T's trademark gold, he says that after witnessing the suffering firsthand from the victims of Hurricane Katrina, he felt it would be a sin to continue to wear it. Don't forget to catch Entertainment Tonight tomorrow at 7 right here on Channel 4. Tom?
The Rocket Man blasting off in a new way, not just appealing to the ears of his fans, but now to their noses, too. Don't go to bed yet.
Closed captioning brought to you by Harrell & Harrell. If you've been injured in an accident, call us. We're still on the back of your phone book. Harrell & Harrell, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Next, E.T. Anna Nicole, wedding secrets and scandals, photos of the ceremony, and more on the reported drug allegations. Then John Travolta in a dress.
Fat Baltimore woman.
It's Hairspray, the movie. Next, E.T.
Tomorrow at 7 on Channel 4, the local station. Joe loves oatmeal crisp cereal because it's made from crispy, delicious flakes, crunchy oatmeal clusters, and juicy raisins. Now he's discovered that oatmeal crisp has ingredients that may reduce the risk of high blood pressure and stroke and may lower cholesterol. That's good news for Joe.
Honey?
Very good news.
Oatmeal Crisp, the great-tasting cereal with ingredients that may reduce the risk of high blood pressure and stroke. Love it with all your heart.
Bill Nelson believes that faith and family are the anchors in our lives. Married for 34 years to Grace Nelson, together they raised their family. He's chaired our national prayer breakfast and worked to bring Democrats and Republicans together. He believes personal responsibility should guide our private lives. Corporate responsibility should guide our businesses. And fiscal responsibility should guide our government. Core beliefs, mainstream values. Bill Nelson, fighting for Florida. Always has, always will.
I'm Bill Nelson, and I approve this message.
I just love Halloween, especially now that Jenny Craig has a new treat, this chocolate caramel peanut bar.
Trick or treat!
Oh my! Here you go, sweetheart. You know all of Jenny's food is yummy. Chocolate cake, the lasagna, no wonder I've lost 75 pounds.
Hey, lady, you gave us fettuccine.
What, you don't like fettuccine?
Now lose 20 pounds for $20 plus the cost of food.
All right, you can have my chocolate bars. Have you called Jenny yet? Boo!
Caring Chefs is a feast to warm your heart. On October 15th, join me at the Avenues Mall and sample delicious food from more than 50 local restaurants. For tickets, call the Children's Home Society at 493-7739.
She's one of the best reporters that I've ever worked with. What a tremendous blessing in our newsroom to have a major anchor who grew up here in Jacksonville.
Jen, being the hometown girl that she is, knows this community inside and out.
I feel that having been a reporter for so long, that has helped make me certainly a better person and certainly a more qualified and experienced journalist. I'm blessed to be able to work in my hometown.
Jennifer Waugh on Channel 4, the local station.
The one and only Elton John teaming up with Bath and Body Works. He's launching a new home fragrance line known as the Elton John Fireside Collection. It includes candles, scented stones, and home fragrance oils. But it isn't just to put money in his pocket. 10% of all the profits will go to the Elton John's AIDS Foundation. Bath and Body Works will sell the collection at its stores and also online. And that is the 10 o'clock news for tonight. I'm Tom Wills. Please stay tuned. Rob is joining Mary for the news at 11 next.
Live from the local station, this is Channel 4 News at 11.
A Nassau County man is free again. His name cleared from a murder police say may have been a part of a deadly coastal crime spree. Tonight, he's talking to the local station. New laws of the road for some special vehicles going off the road. Why some think the new change could be putting more lives at risk. And he may be small, but he's making big news for being a hero. How a 5-year-old boy saved his father's life.
Hello, everyone.